What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Shay Renee, and we are back to discuss The Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 15, Episode 9, Better Late Than Ugly. And can I tell you something? This episode wasn't that cute, but we're going to talk about it. Let's get into it, shall we?
Can't ball in a life, man. Go on with it, go on with it. Do us. So we are coming here with a force. Yeah. Blessing the reap and we coursing on.
All right, y'all. So the episode starts off where Sheree is getting some holistic approach to her fibroids, child. She's going to do everything she can not to go under the knife because she feels like her friends or people that she has known that has gotten surgery on their fibroids, they continue to come back. So she wants to take a more holistic approach to naturally shrink them so that that can further prevent them from happening again and reoccurring. So it seems like she's getting some type of acupuncture procedure or whatever the case may be to make this happen. Now, one thing I thought was interesting, I didn't know Sheree had a sister. So her sister was there with her and her youngest daughter. And I can appreciate, as a holistic health coach myself, I can appreciate her taking a healthier route because most of us don't think about the things that we could be doing to prevent these things from happening and the natural ways that we can heal our body so that the things don't persist. Because what doctors aren't going to tell you is that medication is just going to ease the pain. It never cures anything. So kudos to Sheree for finding a way that works for her. And just a side note, we know what you're doing. You said that you want to go holistically because you want to keep your hole open, if you catch my drift, for Martell. Moving on. So then we have Marlo that is at her house and she is talking to her friend that hooked her up with the guy from the restaurant. What's the guy's name? Scottley or something like that. So she's talking about some text messages that they've exchanged where he's basically saying that he wants to see her again. I think he sent her some roses, or she must have just took the roses from the restaurant from the night before. And apparently she's smitten by him. And they have a little montage of the other housewives saying that he need to have more money or he seems like a nice guy and blase. Child, at the end of the day, we don't know if this whole situation is real or not. I'll believe it if he make it to the end of the season with her. We on episode 9. Would we usually have about 20 episodes for the season? We'll see if he lasts the test of time. Moving on. So then we have Sanya with her assistants, and she's walking around trying to figure out what to do. Somebody got sick, so they couldn't do the auctioneering or the announcements for her at her Mommy Nation thing that she's doing. She's going to be raising money for underprivileged moms to help them get money for their rent, which I think is amazing. I think more people should do things like that. She had an amazing group of women that came to an event. I actually recognize Ronessa Brown. She's a local entrepreneur here in the DMV area. I saw her actually there, and I think she's actually a good friend of Maddie James. Maddie James is a very popular social media marketer. She is very well known on Instagram, and I think her and her husband were actually on Black Love. So that was the person that got the award at the beginning of the Mommy Nation brunch of it all. But we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. So moving on. Sanya is there talking to her assistants. They're trying to put this whole Mommy Nation thing together, and they no longer have anybody that's going to do the auctioning of the things and collecting the money, if you will, so that they can raise $50,000 for the underprivileged moms to get money for their rent. So one of the ladies recommends that Kenya does it. And so Sanya is like, yeah, you talking about my friend Kenya? She was like, yeah, your friend Kenya. She was like, child, I don't know. She done kicked me out of Alabama, child. I don't know. So she decides to ask Kenya if she's going to do it. So moving right along, we ease on down the road over to Kenya Moore Hair Care. Okay, Kenya is doing a whole thing because she couldn't do her performance in Alabama. So she said, what better way to do this than when I am healthy and fancy free and do a recording where now I can use this as a way to promote my products, which I think Kenya is very, very smart. And then also this way she can have Brooklyn included, which I thought was so stinking cute. She had Monyetta there, basically helping her to continue in with the choreography. And then she had a little scene where little Brooklyn came in and did a little dance with her. Brooklyn is so adorable. Like, if Kenya didn't do anything else right in life, that little girl was one of the best things she ever did. That little girl is absolutely adorable, and she is a gift from God. Okay. So while they're doing all of that, Monyetta was surprising Kenya behind the scenes to bring Roy there. So Roy shows up. He has some bags of things. I think it's gifts or and whatnot. So Kenya is really surprised to see him. She introduces him um to Brooklyn. I think Brooklyn has seen him before because she said something to the effect of, "You remember Roy or something, Mr. Roy or something like that." Maybe he must have came over the house on the late night creep, and she told the nanny to take Brooklyn in another room. Who knows? But hey, who cares? Girl, get it how you live. So Roy comes, he gives her a hug, tap dances around for a little bit, shows his handsome face. Then he ends up rolling out. And Kenya is like, well, dang, he is hard to nail down, but he sure is fine. So then Kenya gets a call once he leaves. And of course, it's Sanya asking her if she would be the auctioneer. Kenya says, of course, I'll help you. But then in her confessional, Kenya is like, okay, no, she actually said it to Sanya too. She was like, girl, all right now this the second time you done tried to go around my fee and try to call me to be doing some things for free. Listen, let me tell you something real quick, okay? Your girl is not cheap, all right? Just because we friends and all, that don't mean that you about to be bumping the system, okay? You can't be jumping the system all the time. You're gonna have to go through my manager like everybody else and obtain me for my rightful sum, okay? All right, and I might give you a little friendly discount, but don't let this happen again. You hear? Okay. So moving on, I'm actually excited to see whatever this commercial is that Kenya is going to do, because Kenya does a lot of amazing things, and when it comes to Kenya Moore hair care, homegirl gonna make sure that she make that her products steal the light. Okay. So now we have a scene with Drew, her mom, and her sister. Okay. So they're basically sitting there reminiscing. Drew is talking to Allison about her career and how Allison was very influential in her career. And, because Allison was her assistant. Now, just a side note, let's just have a quick conversation about Miss Drew. Okay. Now, before they got into all of this, of course, Drew was talking about her son and how smart he is, Josiah, and all that good stuff. But then they start to get into some personal things. I likes Drew. I do. Lord knows I do. But Drew seems to be a little bit dramatic to me. And it's not just the dramatic of the drama of it all from being an actress and all of that. Drew seems to make a mountain out of a molehill with everything. Like, everything is so extra. And I feel like she sort of did that towards the end with the whole donations of it all. But we're gonna get into that. But sitting here with her sister, they're having this really open conversation where it ends up getting emotional, because I think that the sister has done some amazing things in her career. Like, her sister is very, very well noted in the film industry. She's managed some very notable individuals. She's very creative. She's been a writer. I didn't know that she was a writer on some very notable TV shows. Like, Allison got it going on. But Allison talked about how a lot of the things that she was doing was really stressing her out. And then there was a relationship that she had that really was unhealthy. And apparently he was not treating her well and even putting his hands on her and things like that. So she had a very, very severe mental breakdown where she was committed twice. So that is very, very serious. So now I think she's trying to get back out there into her family and really reconnect. And they discussed how they didn't really have time, a lot of room to be sisters because it was always work, 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 work. But now she wants to reconnect with Drew and actually be her sister and not someone that is managing her career so much. So they all have a kumbaya moment and hug each other and love on each other. And the mother even says, you know what? There is no way that if I knew that you were going through all these things, that I would have allowed that to happen. But sometimes, people got to live their lives. And as mothers, we always want to shield our children from everything, and we never want our kids to get hurt. But it's a reality that we're never going to know every single thing that they're doing. As much as we want to, we're not going to know everything that they're doing. And we just pray that people treat them well and that it's nothing that creates a severe cause of hurt in their life like it has happened to Allison. But thankfully, she's been able to bounce back from all of this. So kudos to their family, and hopefully they can all reconnect and Allison can move forward with a healthy mental state of mind, with healthy relationships with both Drew and Pastor Jeanette. So moving on, now we got all the OGs gathering around to have a little bite to eat, okay? So that good old stuttering Stanley Sheree gets all the OGs from season 1 and 2. I believe they were, most of them were in either season 1 and 2. So you had Kim Zolciak there, we have Lisa Wu, and then we have Deshaun Snow. Now, Deshaun Snow was just, I don't know if y'all remember her, but she was just as dry on the show as she was sitting at this table. Very nice lady, but all I remember her doing was giving all that money away to the church. That might be why that man divorced her. I'm just saying. He probably like, you know what? I love the Lord like anybody else, but I'm out here shooting in the gym and you slam dunking the checks all over the church. Like, girl, we're gonna be living in the church as much money as she used to donate to the church every week. I said, God dang, I need to be the pastor of this church because I know that pastor driving a jet. And it's all courtesy of Deshaun Snow. Okay. Child, that was a fool and a mess. But moving on, then you got Lisa Wu and her aggressive self. When Kim came in, she was like, I don't know whether to hug you or chop you in the throat. And I'm like, girl, let's take a chill pill. Like, Lisa, don't think you're slick. We remember when you were on that Carlos King show and you made a complete fool of yourself because you were so inebriated and out of your mind that everybody was looking at her like, baby, for real? Are you okay? Is this like medication that has gone wrong? I don't know what was going on with sis, but it was giving aggressive. It was giving over the top and too much when she was on the Carlos King show with these same ladies that are sitting at the table with her. But moving on, they begin to talk about how everybody, Deshaun and Lisa Wu's relationship unfortunately ended right after they left the show, and how that was just really ironic and weird. Then Lisa Wu says, yeah, well, because Kim, yeah, your marriage is about to be over, right? No, you about to foreclose on your house. And Kim was like, what I look like foreclosing on my house for $200,000? I'm like, girl, you and your wig need to stop lying, okay? Child, Kim was just came on this show with her I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world body, looking. I ain't gonna come for the lady because she actually did look good. Her wig was placed right. We ain't see the part off center today. Her boobs didn't look overwhelmingly ridiculous. She looked very slender for a WP. And, it was all good. It was all good. But she's just very much so a perpetrator. Like, she talked about her and Croy being married for 11 years and how she's so in love with him, how she didn't, really experience different things until she started having boys. The boys are really like, she's attached to the boys or whatever. It's like the mom and son thing. I get that. Then what else did she talk about? They showed scenes of her. Bravo, you think you slick. First of all, you didn't bring Nene on the show, which for obvious reasons, I understand why. But y'all show her gambling and doing the little scratch offs and stuff. Y'all know what y'all doing. Y'all know that lady got a problem. So y'all airing her problem out on national TV to let people know this why her and her husband getting a divorce. Okay. Then they talked about Candy Burris in the song. Okay. So I did watch the Bravo after show, the Real Housewives after show, and Candy actually said, you know what? Me and Kim, because Kim talked about how her and Candy hugged at Portia's wedding. And Kim sitting up here being fake. She was like, yeah, we hugged and, it was cool. It was a cordial situation, but I still don't forget what happened. Girl, you don't know how the music industry works. You should have saved that $100,000 and paid them damn taxes with it, because word on the curb is she made about $80,000 to $100,000 off of the downloads from the Tardy for the Party song. And I think it was noted that allegedly that Candy only made $3,000 to $8,000 off of it, which typically that's not the case, because when you remake the song, or she remastered the song for Kim and gave her the ad libs and stuff, all Kim did was perform the song. So Candy should have rightfully gotten more of that money. But the juice wasn't really worth the squeeze for Candy afterwards. It was really business. But at the end of the day, she just realized, you know what? I can't do anything else like this for any of my friends, because they just don't simply understand this how business like this really, really works. So I think for Candy, which, like, from what she said in the after show, she said that Kim and her, like, they used to go on family vacations together, and she really did like doing those things with Kim, and she really did sincerely like her. So she doesn't want business to be something that ruins their relationship, because the good definitely outweighs the bad. So I don't know if Kim gonna be sitting up here perpetrating where it comes to Candy or not. Who knows? But then Sheree starts talking about Portugal, where she wants to invite all the ladies, and I think it seemed like she was inviting the OGs. I actually would like to see that. I'm not mad at that, Bravo. I'd actually like to see on each franchise, maybe y'all bring one or two OGs back, or, previous cast members, bring them back on the show for a couple of episodes just to kind of see how they work. Because I think that sometimes, or historically on a lot of these shows, they will get rid of a housewife before their time. Like, they'll give them one season and they haven't really given them enough time to, like, find their bearings, and then they're firing them because they didn't get the instant gratification that they were looking for. So Kenya is seen on screen where I guess Sheree was Stuttering Stanley, Sheree, child, I'm over here stuttering. Stuttering Stanley, Sheree was over there inviting her to Portugal. And she says, oh my gosh, I love it. I've never been to Spain. I'm like, and you still haven't, Kenya, because Portugal is not in Spain, honey. Okay. Moving on. So then we have Drew at home. In the next scene, we have Drew at home. Her son is doing some work and she's giving him accolades and talking about how smart he is. Then we have Kenya at home. She's trying to get ready for the Mommy Nation brunch, and her dress is too damn tight. So Kenya even admitted on the after show, she says, I chronically buy my clothes too small. So she always has, like, somebody on hand that can re-alter the clothes for her, which I'm like, I ain't mad at it, girl. If you got the coins to do it, go on, do it, child. So she had this dress that she was wearing, and her seamstress had to add 2 inches on the dress so that she could fit it. So moving on, we got Sanya sitting in the chair with Shazi or Shazzy, whatever her sister's name is. Child, every time I see Sanya's sister, she got an attitude. I'm starting to think it's Sanya's fault. I don't know about y'all, but yeah, Sanya over there irritating, sis. She really is. Sanya, you know what? I'm starting to see everything for what it is. At first, I thought Shazzy or whatever her name is was just being totally negative. But I think that Sanya feels like because they live in her house and they don't pay any bills or anything like that, that these people are at her beck and call. But it's like you want them to, you want her to do your hair, take care of your kid, do any and everything that you're asking them to do, and they still have their own lives to live and their own children to take care of. So my thing is, you telling her at the last minute when to come and do your hair and all this, that, and the third, like, Sanya gives me very ADD, like she's scatterbrained and all over the place all the time. And that doesn't technically work for somebody. Shazzy would, she seems like a person that is very organized. Like she's a mom that wants to be there for all the things that her kids are doing. She has breakfast, lunch, and dinner, playtime, and all that stuff scheduled. And on top of that, she's taking care of Sanya's kid too. So it's like, girl, yeah, I can be here for you, but I need to be booked. Like, you can't just be like, oh yeah, my sister lives with me, and I can just get my hair done whenever I want. So she's sitting up there curling her head and giving her the business. She's like, listen, I'm sick and tired of you telling me all this at the last minute. Yeah, and I need to make sure that the boys are good. I gotta get them fed. I gotta make sure Deuce is good. Like, this is just a whole lot, and you like to be telling people stuff at the last minute, and I ain't here for the boat. Okay, saying you get to crying and upset, and she's like, you know what, you're right. I'm so sorry. And it's like, girl, you constantly apologizing to this girl, but you keep on doing it over and over and over again. You have got to get organized, because this is just getting out of hand and just out of control. And frankly, if I was your sister, them tears wouldn't mean diddly squat to me. And clearly they didn't, because she was like, oh yeah, and after I do your hair, I'm not coming back. I was like, damn, she ain't even gonna come back for the brunch. Girl, you take a plate, something, child. I don't know. But she had enough of sis. So moving on, Shazzy ski daddles on up out of there. So the ladies begin to arrive to the event. Kenya is not there yet. So Sanya is getting a little nervous, because she's like, child, you're supposed to be the announcee, the announcer, and you're supposed to be the master of ceremony. What am I supposed to do? So it's an hour and 15 minutes into the program, and Kenya is not there yet. So we see all the ladies arrive, everybody's sitting down. Candy comes in. Now, Candy actually has a lot going on. We see in a prior scene where she had just come home that morning from driving from Nashville, because she had a show that night. So she drove home, then she had to do speak on it. Then she had to go and do this for Sanya, and then she had another show that night. So it was like Candy was really, really tired, but she made her way to this Mommy Nation brunch. So all this time, Sanya always riding the fence where it comes to Candy and Marlo, but Candy seemed to make it to her event. And she even, I think on the after show, they talked about that, and on the show, where Sanya was like, she must be the favorite because Candy missed a lot of stuff. She missed the Alabama trip that Kenya had. She also missed Drew's music video, but she seemed to be able to make it to Sanya's thing. And I'm like, well, Sanya, not too much, sis. It's not that you so special. It's just, listen, she can't keep on missing filming events. So she had to get something together. So you just kind of fit in her schedule for the day. So don't think you all that. All right. So moving on, Courtney, Miss Irrelevant, comes in. Marlo comes in. I'm glad Marlo is acting right today, because I really am tired of this whole shtick with her and Candy. Like, I'm done. Who is that? Gavin. Yes. Oh, okay. Sorry, y'all. I'm like hearing doors opening. I'm like, I ain't nobody up here with me. I forgot my son was up here. But moving on, they're sitting at the table, and they're talking, and then Marlo tells Courtney and the ladies about Scott Lee, the guy that she's dating, and all of them. Monietta was like, yeah, he better have a lot of money. And then Sanya in her confessional was like, yeah, well, I think he's a really nice guy. I think this is going to work for her. So of course Candy comes in. She has her number 69 number thing for her to put her bid in for giving up some donation money, and they had a little laugh about that. She sits down, and Sheree is there. Now let me say this, y'all. People keep on, I don't know where it randomly has come out that Sheree is like this fashionista. I've never really known her to be said to be like a serious fashionista. I mean, everybody says that Sheree has a nice body, but I've never really seen anybody saying that Sheree is like this real fashionista. Like Marlo, even though I don't like Marlo and Marlo gets on my nerves, she can dress. She can put a fit together. Like I would say, 80% of the things that Marlo wears is very cute. It's cute on her. I don't know if I would necessarily wear a lot of the stuff that she wears, but it looks good on her. She knows how to dress her body type. Okay. And I actually feel confident that Marlo can dress somebody else. I just think that she's one of those people that has an eye for fashion. But Sheree, not too much. Not so much. Then we have Drew coming in. I don't know what Drew was doing. It's given very much. What was the swoop on the side of your head, girl? I don't know. But anyway, moving on. Sanya says, "Listen, Kenya ain't here. I got to get the show. Got to go on." So she gets up, presents the award to Maddie James that I told y'all about. Maddie James, like I said, was on Black Love. She's a very well-known Instagram. She's a social media influencer, and I think that the hometown entrepreneur I told you about, Marnessa Brown, was there to support her because I think they're really good friends. But moving on, everything continues to go on, and then Sanya actually decides to give a award to Sheree, and Sheree's son Cairo, which seems very, very shy, but he came and he did the award. She awarded Sheree for being like an amazing mom to her kids, and now she's a glam ma and all this, that, and the third. But I'm like, Sheree's kids are grown. This might have been a good time. I mean, this is just my opinion. This might have been a good time for her to give her sister an award for all the stuff that she puts her sister through. Randomly coming and having your sister do your hair. How she taking pretty much raising your son. Because you just be running in and out and doing whatever you want, Sanya. She like your living babysitter and flunky. Maybe you should have gave your sister that award. I'm just saying, but it ain't none of my business. Moving on. So she gives Sheree this award. Kenya walks in. Okay. So Kenya, there was a thing where Kenya was like, somebody told me that you were about to be having me sitting away from my plus one. That's not proper. Like, I'm not going to invite somebody somewhere and that's not going to work for me. And I'm not sitting with my guests. So they made it. Akila was actually Kenya's guest. So she was able to sit with her. So then Kenya got up to do the is it an auctioneer? I don't know. Whatever. She was the person that was basically hyping up the crowd to get the donations in. So she gets up, she asked Sanya what was the total that she was looking for. Sanya whispered to her 50,000, and Kenya said the goal was 100,000. She was like, we do bigger and better things. Our goal is $100,000 today. So Kenya gave the first $5,000 donation. So then it seemed like Candy willingly stood up because Moneybag Burris, she got the coins and the check is definitely not going to bounce like a basketball. So she gets up, she was like, I'll match that. So she does $5,000 and she starts looking at everybody else at the table like, hello? Because Kenya says, you talking about some $50,000. This $50,000 right here at this table, talking about Drew, Sheree, Marlo, Monietta, and Courtney, and Kenya. And Candy. So, and Drew. So Drew seemed to be the last one trying to put a little raggedy ass paddle up. I'm like, Drew, well, all them assistants you had, all them ragged ass wigs you got, you know what? Drew strikes me as the person that wants to spend her money on what she want to spend it on. She seems very selfish, or maybe she don't even know how much damn money they got because she ain't really working like that besides this Housewives show. And Ralph is the one controlling their dividends. So, child, I know you ain't broke, girl. $5,000 shouldn't be too much for you. Not too much, okay? If anything, I also thought that Sheree would be the one that was tripping. So in the after show, y'all, just a little tea for y'all. They said that everybody gave up their $5,000 check, but Drew. Like she eventually gave it up, but she was the last one. Sanya actually had to call her to ask her for her donation. And Drew was like, well, I had to do a little research just to make sure that this thing was really what it is. Because the donations were going to, like I said, moms with families, and it helped to pay their rent for up to 6 months or something, or for 6 months to a year, something like that, with the money that they were gathering for the women. And I thought that was just an amazing cause. So for Drew, I'm like, girl, like Kenya said, this just one less Birkin bag you buying. Go ahead and put it towards a good cause. And Marlo willingly gave up the money too, even though she said Kenya is so stupid. She was like, that's one less check you gonna write to the designers, and I guess you're just gonna have to sell some more eBay products so you can get your money back. I was like, damn, Kenya, you don't never take a break, sis. Never take a break. But moving on, they ended up raising 70, I think she said $78,000, which I think was absolutely amazing. So kudos to Sanya and Mommy Nation for this being a very successful event. But y'all, did y'all see them previews? Baby, apparently, uh Miss Drew is getting her, you know, cootie cat, the carpet munched in a new movie. Okay, this movie that Todd and Candy have got, commissioned her to be in. Okay, and then there's allegedly some stuff going around that her and Ty, I forgot what the girl's name is, but she's a WNBA basketball player, and she formerly dated Mimi from Love and Hip Hop. Child, apparently her and Ty have some type of relationship, so they're going to talk about that on the show. Yeah, I think it's going to get interesting, or more interesting than it has been. We shall see. But y'all, yeah, this episode wasn't really giving up too much, so that's why I was like, I'm not even going to go live. They probably done seen everybody else's review by now. So I just wanted to go ahead and put this together so I can remain consistent and get the content out to y'all, so y'all can at least hear my opinion on the show. I'll give this show a 5. I mean, it wasn't really hitting on much. And not to say that you need a whole bunch of drama for the show to be okay, because the Marlo and Candy stuff was pissing me off, to be frank. But it just seemed like it's not that I needed drama. I just really didn't see very much going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, the brunch was cute, it was nice, but it was just kind of like we saw the ladies just kind of moseying around. It wasn't really anything like really substantial happening. I would have liked to actually see Kenya's finished video. I don't know if we're going to see that at some point. We're not guaranteed that the OGs are actually going to come on this trip. And then, just a side note, Sheree Stuttering Stanley Sheree said that those four, is it four of them? One, two. Those four always eat dinner together, and they catch up. It didn't really feel that way. It didn't feel like they were like abreast of what's going on in each other's lives. Because if we go to dinner from time to time and catch up and we all cool, why you don't know if Lisa Wu is still a broker? She said, yeah, I'm still a broker. And, obviously that's probably why she knows that Kim's house is in foreclosure, because she has access to all that information. So, child, I don't know. But anyway, y'all, thank y'all for watching. Please, please, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with anybody else that hasn't seen 11,000 reviews of this show today. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out.